Hey everybody, it's Kevin from EnhDme.com, your online home care medical specialist. As you can tell, I'm not in my regular spot. Unfortunately, I had a family member pass away on New Year's Day, so I'm with family and taking care of some things. Um, it never gets easy, especially when you're in this realm. And that's why I want to talk about a article that I just finished up. You should check it out on EnhDme.com. A gentleman, Dr. Mark Ropeleski, runs a thing called the Caregivers Podcast, and I thought it was really fitting to talk about this because when you're in this industry, like we've all been in this caregiving industry, the family that I'm with, they're in the home care business, and a situation like this happens, and people think that you can trudge through it, but we're human just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like and when you're in it continuously, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen things in my life. I've sat in on end of life multiple times, and it wreaks havoc. I was just talking about this to friends last night. I actually had a family have to console me one time when their mom had died because I was just an emotional wreck because all of the emotions and feelings that I had about my own mother's death came flooding to the surface. And I was there as a professional, but it's hard. It's hard. And he put together this, I sent him some interview questions and he wrote this article about the unraveling of the caregiver. You've got medical professionals that it might not be their family member, but they're dealing with that pain and empathy and pain and going on daily. A lot of people that are drawn to this career are empaths. Like we take that weight on. We do. And if you don't do self-care, if you don't take care of yourself, you burn out quickly. And this gentleman was kind enough to put together this wonderful podcast called the Caregivers Podcast. And I truly mean that everyone should tap into that because of the fact that there are so many of us that need, you need help, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, it weighs on you and you've got to take time for yourself. I always say you can't fill someone's water glass if your pitcher is empty, and so many people, it's why the mortality rate for the caregiver is so high. I've gone into situations where, we were taking care of a wife and we end up taking care of the husband down the road because of the fact that, they're not eating, they're not sleeping, they're not doing self-care. So it's super important. So check out that article. It's about the burnout of the family caregiver. It's super important. And again, if you've got a loved one or you're not on good terms with a loved one in this stage of life, it's always important to let people know how you feel about them. It's important. Life is fragile. Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So that's it. Kevin from EnhDme.com. I hope you're having a great day. Check out that blog. Like, follow, and share the Caregivers Podcast. They're great people. We need more voices like this in our community, and I'm hoping to bring more stories like this to our community. All right? Have a great day, everybody.